And tough times for Petrobras. Brazil's state-run oil company posted a $7.2 billion loss earlier this month, its biggest ever. As traditional financial sources dry up, Petrobras is now looking towards Asia for a lifeline. CCTV's Cabral has more.
There are no reliable estimates on how many billion barrels of oil are buried under 4,000 meters of sea, salt and rocks offshore Brazil. But there's a consensus that the so-called pre-salt province in the Campos and Santos basins is among the biggest in the world, but also one of the hardest and most expensive to explore. This is where analysts predict most of the $3.5 billion loan from the state-owned China Development Bank to oil giant Petrobras will likely be spent.
Petrobras has a huge investment plan, so it has to gather money to comply with this investment program. And I believe that this financing from China will help out in this direction. China needs badly to sustain its growing path natural resources, especially oil. Brazil, and especially Petrobras, will have a huge oil surplus to be exported, so that this alliance will benefit both sides.
On the day the deal was signed, in early April, Petrobras shares rose by almost 5% here in Sao Paulo's stock exchange. But beyond the gains in the financial markets, analysts say there is a long-term game of international economy and politics being played.
China today is the first, second or third largest partner to all South American countries, for instance. I think that China is occupying to a certain extent a space that was left open by the United States.
I think that it was very wise for China and China Development Bank to make this $3.5 billion loan to Petrobras almost in the worst moment of its crisis. Brazil is not going to end. The fundamentals of Brazil are, it's a very wealthy country. Petrobras is a government-controlled company and will certainly not default.
While official details of the loan are not being released, local media reports this latest deal is similar to the one Brazil signed with a Chinese bank back in 2009. Under that agreement, China would be guaranteed a certain amount of exported oil from Brazil. In the past 10 years, Beijing has provided similar assistance to other Latin American countries. China says in the next 10 years it expects foreign investments in Latin America to hit $250 billion. Cabral, CCTV, São Paulo.